Hello all, welcome to day 119. Here we are. Look, who's this?
Hello.
Gary's here. We're just sat outside.
Busy working on my phone.
Busy working on his phone. Hang on, just before I say anything, let's just go live on Instagram because we haven't done that for a while. Okay, we're live on Instagram. This is where we are. Look at this. I go down there. Timmy's just down there. You can see him moving a chair. And then this is where we're sat. Isn't this beautiful? I'm just going to keep turning you around until you come back to Gary and then you come back to me. Here we go. Here we are. It's beautiful here. We are in, what's it called around here?
Can't remember, but we're about half an hour away from Slippery Rock University.
We're about half an hour away from Slippery Rock University, and tomorrow we start our 3-day workshop in Slippery Rock. Again, we were did a 3-day workshop last weekend, and we did the training camp before. It's been full on. And as many of you know, if you've been watching the lives and the Facebook page, Asher and I spent we got back yesterday here, and we spent from Tuesday through to Thursday at the Happy Horse Haven Ranch Farm. That's how you say it, which is owned by the iconic Linda Pirelli. And Linda put us up in her lovely, beautiful house with Courtney. It was a fantastic time that we had there. Linda cooked some amazing meals for us. She's a very, very good cook, I have to tell you. And we were doing some really important work that we had to do. We had lots and lots of important conversations about horse and hoof care. And I just wanted to talk about that today. I wanted to talk about how important that is. And maybe before we dive in, and sorry for all the guys, but we're going to talk about strong women, Gary. That's what we're going to talk about. Strong women.
I think I'm immune.
He says he thinks he's immune.
Bring it on.
Bring it on. Bring it on. Have you been helped to see things a little bit differently, or encouraged to stand up for what's right for the horse? Who's helped you do that? Has that been a strong female in the equine industry? It's very difficult in the equine industry to get heard, especially when you are fighting against such a lot of tradition. And I have to tell you, when I came from teaching, because this sort of thing where you have change is difficult to implement and quite slow in every industry. And it's no different in most industries, but with the equine industry, that is so steeped in tradition that the wheels of change grind incredibly slowly. They are so rusty. They change so slowly. So I thought today we'd just take a few moments to just reflect and share our experiences, and you can share your experiences in the comments. And I'd love to hear from you about the amazing women who have made an impact in your journey with horses, and how we are continuing to push forward. And it's not easy. You know, women in this industry have to do extra to get heard. Linda Pirelli and myself had lots of conversations together around the dinner table, talking about how we are pushing against the tide. We're challenging those deeply held beliefs and trying to lead the way to change in horse care. Linda's been doing it for 30 years. I've been doing it for nearly 30 years. Maybe not quite as well known as Linda Pirelli, getting more so that way latterly as people start to really see the impact that the Phoenix Way, which is not a method, as you know, it's a way. It's about changing your whole way of thinking about keeping horses, and that includes diet management and trimming. And that's what we discuss in the foundation on the workshops, which we're starting, our second one tomorrow. So before we do that, let's just say hello. Let's just say hello to everybody that's joining us already. Sorry, I look a bit rough. This is my first day off in over 2 weeks, because obviously we've traveled, but we taught non-stop for 8 days, and then we traveled to Linda's place, and we were teaching there as well. Not it was all a private consultation, as we were helping out various equines, and that's what we were doing. And so that in itself has been a journey and quite emotionally intense. And here I am now on Friday, and this is my first day off, and all I wanted to do, Tim wanted to take me out today, and all I wanted to do was lay on the bed. I didn't want to do anything. I'm lying there on my phone, and then I have a little sleep, and then I wake up. I'm tired, man. I'm tired. Suzanne Shides here. Hello. Jeanette's here. Sherry's here. Catherine Brown. Charlie Brown. Hi there. Hello, guys, says Susie Pemberton. Sandra's here from Czech. Jeanette says, wow, it's fabulous. Dee says, hello, guys. Hello, Dee. Anne says, hi from Comox in BC. Foxy says, hey, nearly missed you again, but you didn't. Bethan says, strong women. There you go. There's one right there who you've been inspired by and been learning from. Bethan Thornycroft from Gorsworth Track Livery. Jeanette says, yeah, women, that's the way to go. Bethan says, you've been my biggest supporter. Thank you very much. Always, 100%. I'm always going to have your back. And I know that's vice versa. Moira's here. Hello. Foxy says, on day 5 of the 15 day, and you are the person who wakened me up, Lindsay. Thank you for saying that. I think it's great Linda Pirelli is on board. Well, certainly Linda and I had some great conversations with Courtney. And just so everybody knows, we didn't visit there to Highland and Jazz are quite okay. Those are Linda's horses. They are fine. There's nothing wrong with Highland and Jazz. They're doing well. This was all about Courtney and Courtney's horses. So it's a big change. Everything is a change. The world is changing. Jeanette says, obviously yourself and now Bethan since I found you. Carol Colbert's here. Morning. GTL. Sherry says, Lindsay, I can't get to make a new account because I deleted my old one. I was sick of FB for a while, Facebook. Something went wrong with my new account, then they suspended it. Sherry, don't worry about that. If you do make a new account, I know that one of our policies in the Phoenix Way is, I'm just talking to Gary about that. The policies in the Phoenix Way is that you have to have had your account 6 months. But if you let us know and you send us your page, then we'll get the admins to look out for you and they'll let you in.
This might be the lady that Rachel's been dealing with very recently. So if you are the one that Rachel's been helping, I'm pretty sure that it's all in hand. Right. If not, let us know.
Okay. Let us know. All right. Megan says, what a journey you're on. It is. And like Gary said, it's a numbers game, right? And we keep pushing hard. We keep going out there. We keep showing our proof, showing the x-rays, showing the transition, showing the derotation, showing the imbalanced hoof care. We keep going. And eventually people see you. And Linda has apparently been watching us for a couple of years now. So that's quite incredible. Emma says, hello. Lydia says, caught alive. Hi, everyone from Canada. Getting caught up on trimming. 7 done. 2 more to go. So hot here. Well done. Oh, my God. In Florida, it was stupid hot. Jane's here. Hi. Dee says, my mother and you. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. That's a lovely thing to say for inspiration. Okay, so let's very quickly talk about things that we're trying to do. We're trying to break the mold, right? Because the world of horse care has been dominated by tradition forever and a day. It's been so long. And women like Linda Pirelli, who I hope that one day we'll be able to interview, women like Linda and I are trying to break that mold. We're trying to break through and make people see things that have gone wrong with tradition. It's not just about trying to break that, but it's about proving it by showing real results, improving horse welfare, and just redefining what's possible with horses. It's no good just sitting back and doing the same old thing that we've always done. We have to redefine what we have done because it's not working. We're always with our mindset on improving the life of horses, our domestic horses. You know, Linda and I have had to stand very firm in the face of resistance. If you've watched the journey of Linda Pirelli over the years, you will then know that she has had a lot of resistance because she challenged traditional hoof care and went on to make a movement all about natural horsemanship, mainly because the old ways hadn't been working. And this is why it's important. Linda changed the way that we train horses. No more harsh techniques, no more dominance, just understanding them and their partnership, our partnership with the horse. And I've been trying to change the norms of hoof care, haven't I? I've been trying to show the world, especially when it comes to understanding hoof balance and P3 rotation, which it seems that that's the journey that we've been taken on. Who knows why, but we are here to try and change everybody's ideas about what's going on and why traditional methods simply don't work. You can't keep doing the same thing. You can't keep putting clogs on. You can't keep doing tenotomies. You can't keep doing resections. You can't keep using heart bar shoes and just hoping that it'll work when you're already dealing with an imbalanced hoof. You have to start with the understanding that it wasn't P3 rotating because of some mystical thing that the owner did by feeding the horse too much. It started because of what the hoof care professional, and in some cases even owners themselves, did to their horse's feet. And that is the awakening. That's the side that we need to wake up. And what we've learned, I think, between the two of us, and Bethan included, is that when you think differently, it's not just that. It's not just necessary to think differently. You got to think even more than that. You have to think about transforming the way that the world has been with tradition. It's so massive and so big. It's about creating new thoughts, new systems that work better for our domestic horses. And that's exactly what we've been doing. We've both been going on our own paths, both finding out about each other. Of course, I've known about Linda Pirelli for many, many years. And now we are starting to converge on a path that is together making things better for horses. The struggles that we have faced pushing against the tide, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's not been easy. It isn't easy. It's still not easy. If you face pushback every single day from people who don't want to believe that hoof care or horsemanship or natural horsemanship can be approached in a different way, then it's tiring, it's tough, because resistance is always going to be expected. And it's always, but as Linda quite rightly said, if they're not talking about you, they've forgotten about you. So whether they're talking about you in a bad way or a good way, if they're not talking about you, they've forgotten about you. So it's a sign that you're on the right track. Okay, that is the truth. And one of the things that both Linda and I spoke about was that when people try to follow what we're doing and they don't necessarily, well, they don't get the right training for whatever reason, they haven't gone on Linda's courses, they haven't worked at really trying to refine their horsemanship, they haven't gone on my courses or our courses, and they haven't worked hard to try and refine what it means to understand hoof care, then you tend to end up not quite getting it right. And then that's when doubt, and when people think it doesn't work, that's when it all starts to creep in. And that's a problem right there, because immediately everybody assumes that everybody who just sees a bit of it happening and they try and do it, that everybody's going to be able to do it. And of course they don't. And then in the name of natural horsemanship, or in the name of the Phoenix way, they don't get it right. And that gives other people the impression that it was wrong in the first place. But that's not what it's about. You've got to study these things. And then once you start studying it and you start understanding it, then you can start standing up for what we believe and what you believe, even when those traditional voices are there and they don't want to listen. And guess what? We're still standing. We're still standing strong, because we know what we're doing absolutely works. Linda and I, Bethan and I, and so many other women that are working hard in this space where we are at the moment. And I think it's fair to say that it's we could even say it's a naturally balanced space, trying to get horses to be balanced with their owners emotionally and physically, and trying to get them sound and balanced in movement, which is where we come in. That's pushing those boundaries. to deliberately force the equine world to really reevaluate everything. And it always starts at the bottom up from you guys, the owners. That's where change happens, because that's when we start questioning old practices that never worked, re-examining what we've been taught which didn't work, and creating these new ways to ensure that our horses receive that care emotionally, physically, that they need, and that they do not fall into pathology and live with pathology for years and years and years of their life. It's just not right. Just looking quickly onto Instagram, loads of people with us. Snoopy Star, Kathy Yorkshire Lass, Hitem is here, Viv Avery's here, good morning. Alicia Garcelle and Antin Riol is here. Alicia, Kate, Briar's here, hello my darling. Alex, Magnum and Laurie is here. I can never say all the names on Instagram because it's always tricky. I don't know, I can never say them. And let's just have a look at you guys that are just coming in. Jessie says, Potty's here. She says, good morning. Georgia says, you are an inspiration to Asher and I every single day. Through the ridicule and the tough times, your strength is incredible. That was my daughter, Georgia. Thank you, darling. That's a lovely thing to say. That is truly, you are my inspiration too. Could all start going, oh my God, it's just a massive, great big hug is happening right now. Anna says, fighting for sound barefoot horses, 24 years now. Awesome. Joan says, good night. Jeanette says, I was and still am inspired by, I put you on the screen. I've forgotten that I can still do that because I've got so used to it, not on my phone. Jeanette says, I was and still am inspired by Lucinda Green. I like the way she speaks her mind, but isn't afraid to say when she doesn't know the answer. Fantastic. Bethan says, tradition is just peer pressure from dead people. Well, that's true. When people have passed, it's still with us, right? Foxy says, absolutely. Jeanette says, right on. Tara gives us a heart. Lindsay Disdale's here. Evening. Libby says, hey. Oh, that's Libby's Patch Farm. That'll be Dan and his beautiful farm. Well done, guys. Okay, so let's just carry on saying, and I got to wrap this up actually because I've got to go for a walk with Timmy. What does it mean when we're pushing against that tide in the equine world? Cool. We're challenging outdated belief. We're putting the horse first. We are leading by example. All of those things are what we're doing, and we're trying to change the industry. We know the struggles that come with challenging tradition, but that's what comes with the territory. We're poking our heads above the parapet, but we're trying to make an impact, and we clearly are. We're doing it through our workshops. We've created spaces where people can come and they can learn the truth about hoof care, and they always come and it blows their mind and they leave going, oh my God. And like we say at the beginning of the workshop, you are going to learn stuff that 99% of the rest of the world have no clue about. And that is why we have such a shocking state of pathology and poorly horses with awful hoof care, lame, unsound, with every single element of lameness you can think of. That's what we're doing. We're talking about, we used to do a little bit about horsemanship, but we have filled these workshops up so much in the 3 days that really it's everything to do with the hoof now. And we talk about horse welfare. These workshops, they're not just about teaching, they're about leading by example. You guys leave, you go and you lead by example, and because you get it too, just by the fact that you are near us and following what we're doing and understanding and getting your horses better, that you too get it thrown at you sometimes, the resistance. What we're doing is we're giving you data, we're giving you evidence. People still will come to our Facebook page and Bethan's and ask, they see one post and they go, where are all the x-rays then, if this is what you're doing to prove it? And you're like, oh, you're obviously quite new here then. Go off and have a look, scroll down the Facebook page, see the x-rays, see the data, see the evidence. We're collecting the biggest database in the world, and we're proving that the Phoenix Way works. And the Phoenix Way is just, I don't know if you can hear the cicadas, it's just anatomical constants that you're working from, internal balance, not forgetting about those internal balance and how you find that internal balance. We're documenting these real world rehabs, these results, this evidence, and we're changing the conversation about what's possible. Exactly what Linda has been doing for 30 years, and building a community, a movement. We are building a community. You are all part of a movement of like-minded horse owners and professionals, and you are committed to that change. And together, folks, we are going to make lasting change forever. It's exciting, and it's what we're doing. So here's your takeaway today on this live, because it's more of a usual live today, a mini live challenge, rather than me walking around an arena, which is what I shall be doing over the next 3 days, when you get to see the new group of people in Slippery Rock. It'll be fun to see. Pushing against the tide isn't easy, of course it's not, but it's absolutely necessary for that real progress to happen. Strong women in the equine world, Linda Pirelli, myself, Bethan Thornycroft, we are all working to redefine the way we care for horses, and we're showing that. Standing firm in your beliefs, that's when you can start bringing about real change. And it's almost, and that word belief is a tricky word, because people will say to you, well, that's what you believe. And so I tend to not, oftentimes I tend to pull back on that word, because it's not what I believe, it's what I know. It's what the data shows, it's what the horses show, and they all start recovering. You know, you've followed us for a while now. Our success rates are huge, as indeed Linda's are too. Our success rates are huge because it works. It absolutely works. So I want you to think about what boundaries you've pushed in your own journey with horses. What have you challenged in the world of horse and hoof care that has made a difference for your horse? How can you then help us by leading by example in your own community as part of our movement to create that positive change for our domesticated horses? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'll come back and have a look at them later. And let's continue, my friends, to keep celebrating the strength of those of us and you who are leading the charge for a better future for horses. And we'll not forget Mr. Gary Hinton, who also is leading the charge for horses. So with that in mind, thank you for joining me today. It's been a great day for me, relaxing and doing pretty much nothing, although I've not actually got off my computer. But it has been nice and relaxing. I've been watching herons come in. We've got bald eagle visits, and we've got groundhogs. Although I think Tim and Gary are pulling my leg because I haven't seen one yet, and they keep saying that they're here. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. Please press like. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. Please like us on Facebook. Please share. Thank you for following us on Instagram. This is about creating positive changes, and you are all doing this with us. Let's lead by example, keep educating and empowering horse owners and professionals to do what's best for horses. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love you all. See you tomorrow in Slippery Rock. Bye-bye. All the best. Take care now, my lovelies. Bye. Take care.